Hi guys, this is Adoma. I'm back with the part 2 of this segment. If you have not watched the first part of making this simple tank top, check the link in the description box down below. So I'm going to continue from where I stopped, and as I told you, we are going to work out the stitches as shown in the first part. So to begin the next row, you are going to chain up 3 and you are going to move to the next space. As usual, you are going to create your V in that same exact V as I showed you from part 1. You are going to chain 1 and create your V once again in the V, separating them with chain 1. And then when you are done, you are going to chain up 1 and single crochet in the next space. You are going to chain up 3, single crochet in the following space, and you are going to continue this same pineapple design until you get to the end of the pineapple, and then you are going to continue with your stitches. So yes, make sure you chain up the amount you need, and then make sure it's right intact with your chain 3 space. So when you are done, you're going to create your V in the following V as usual. Make sure whenever you see a V, you create the V, and then you're going to continue your pineapple design. We are getting to the front panel, and I created a V in the V, and then I'm going to continue with my chain. So actually I chained 1. This is the very last chain, so I'm going to create a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet in the same exact space, creating the pod for you to create or start a new pineapple design. So I just created this in the very last board, and I'm going to continue with my V and all around the project. Just make sure that whenever you end your pineapple, you create that pod to start your new pineapple, and that is the nice technique. So the next row is going to be 8 double crochet in that space I just created, and that is very fine. So next we are going to chain up 2, and we are going to continue with your V. So a V is double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, as I told you from the part 1, and that is what you are going to basically do. Very simple and very easy. We are going to apply the technique to the end of the row. Wherever you approach a pineapple, and then you just create this V. This time you chain 2 separating, so you create the V in the chain space, and then you continue with your regular V in other V. I'll meet you at the end of the row. So I'm done with my whole row. Just make sure that you apply the same technique, and it's very repetitive. And you are going to chain 2 and slip stitch to the last chain, and you are going to continue with your next, but chain 3 to begin the row, and then we are going to move to the next V and create this V inside the next V, and we are going to make some changes. It's not going to be regular. You are going to make some addition in between these V's. So this is the V, these 2 V's are there. This time we are going to create a V in between the 2 V's. So you are going to chain 1 and create your V, and a V is double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in the same exact space, and you are going to chain 1 again, and then do your regular V in that V. So you are basically adding up another V, and yeah, this is to fasten up the ruffle effect for the top, and it's optional for you. So next you are going to chain up 2 and single crochet into the next board, and you are going to continue your pineapple chain 2, however, and realize that it closes up by 1. So my next one is the V. Make sure you chain 2 and do your V in its V, and make sure that you do it in between the V. You create a V in between, and then you continue with your V as well. So that's the differentiation for this particular row, and then you are going to continue with your normal regular pineapple design, and you realize that it closes up. That's what you have to have at the back of your mind, but it's basically an easy pattern to follow. So after that, you are going to chain up 2 and create your V as usual, and you can realize that you are approaching the front panel or the back panel, because you can wear this top anyhow you want. So make sure that you create a V in between the two V's, as you can see, and that's the only differentiation. So you are moving closely to the front panel as usual. You start with a double crochet line on its own, and then you do your V, and we are gradually this time around, since you are meeting your very first pineapple stitch, you are going to create your very first pineapple stitch for this row. So this time I'm just going to chain 1, and we are going to go inside this space with a total of 8 double crochets, like how we did from the beginning of the row. So just make sure you do your 8 double crochet in that same exact space. That's what matters for this front panel, and that's the beginning of the pineapple pattern for this front panel. So after that, I'm going to continue with your regular one, chain 2, and do your V just like that. This time around, you are not going to go in between for the front panel as we did for the side panels. You are just going to move along, and after chaining 2, you are going to do your 8 double crochets in the same space as you did for the other one, and you are going to continue with your regular V stitch. Realize that the V stitches this time is just 1 in between, and then you chain 2 and do your 8 double crochet, because you are starting a new pineapple pattern, and that applies. This same technique applies to the back panel. The side panels are different. So this is the basic technique you are going to use for this top, and you can just play around with the stitches however you want. However it's nice for you, you can just play around with the pattern. So I'm now gradually moving to the armpit area. As I said, I've nicely created my 8 double crochet pattern, and I'm going to repeat the same thing till I get to the end of the row. But I'm going to repeat the same for the back panel as well. So I'll meet you. So I'm done, and I repeated the same for the side panel. The side panel consists of when you do your 8 double crochet in the pod created, and then you realize that the armpit area is different, and the only way that you can determine this is when you start with a double crochet. So you realize I'm trying to demonstrate to you, and that's the same technique I used. And yeah, this is pretty simple. So I'm now done with my row, and I just repeated my 8 double crochet in all the pods I created from the previous row, and I'm going to chain 2 and slip stitch to join, and I'm going to continue with my next row. So just put it at the back of your mind that the back and front panel are similar, and this armpit area have a different technique. So after chaining up 3, I'm going to go with a V inside the V, and then you're going to chain 1 and go into the V in between the 2 V's from the previous row. The new V you created, you're going to create your V once again, and after that you're going to chain 1 and create your V again in its V, and then you're going to chain 2 and continue with your pineapple pattern swiftly. As I told you, it closes up, and when it closes up you start a new one. That's the technique for the pineapple pattern, and I hope you love this. So this is the technique I'm using for this pineapple top, and I just love it. It's basically repetitive, and it's you can adjust the pattern to however you want. So after chaining up 2, I'm going to continue with my my V stitch in its V swiftly until I get to the end of the row. So yes, I'll show you what to do for the front panel. So you're approaching the front panel after chaining 2 and doing your V in its V. You're going to move along and just repeat your regular V in its V until you meet your pineapple. So you know that from the previous we did 8 double crochet in a particular space for the front panel, and we are gradually approaching. So this time it's just 1 double crochet, and put it at the back of your mind that there's this connection. The connection is just one double crochet between the armpit area and the side panel. So after creating your V, you are going to chain up 1 or 2, however, and then you are going to continue with your pineapple pattern. So you double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. You are supposed to have a total of 8 double crochets with chain 1 spaces in between, like how we did from the beginning of the pineapple pattern from part 1. And that's basically what you're going to do for all the 8 double crochet in the pod. And make sure you don't skip your V's, put your V's in between. Make sure you count and get the 8 double crochets, because if you don't have the same number, it's going to look you're going to destroy your pattern. So yes, I'm going to continue my number of rows. My daughter is trying to, that was my cousin doll. So I'm at the back panel now. I'm going to continue with my pineapple stitches as I shown you. When you get to the V, put the V there. When you get to the pineapple where you place the 8 double crochet, put it there until you get to the end of the row, and then you slip stitch to join. And this is nice. So I'm at the end of the row. I slip stitch to join. I created my 8 double crochets with chain 1 spaces in between. You can see it's ruffling already and looking pretty. So yes, so now guys, let's begin the next row. As usual, you chain up 3 to begin the next row. Create your V in its V as usual. So yeah, create your V in its V and all the V's available. Just chain 1 and move to the next V, and then chain 1 and move to the next V, and create your V until you meet your pineapple pattern, where you are going to do the usual chain 3 single crochet from the explanation of part 1. So yeah, we are now moving towards our pineapple pattern. It's almost closing up, but first we are going to chain up and then single crochet. So just chain up 1 or 2, it doesn't matter, single crochet, and then chain 3 and then single crochet in the next. You realize that we are left with a pod now, so that means you are going to start another pineapple very soon. So you are going to chain 2 and move to the next V and create your V, and move to the following V's and create your V's as usual, repetitively till you get to the front panel. And you realize that with the front panel we have already created our double crochet, chain 1 spaces in between. So I'm going to continue with the chain pattern, and then yeah, just basically continue with this pattern. You realize that with this pineapple pattern, it's the armpit area is closing up, and that's the effect you need. So I'm going to do this repetitively, and I'll show you what to do at the front panel. So I'm at one of the sections of the front panel, and I already created my chain spaces. So I'm going to create a V. I just want to give you a small demonstration of what you actually do, because this is basically repetitive. So after chaining 1, I'm going to move to the space. I'm going to chain 2, move to the space, single crochet, chain 3, move to the next space, single crochet, chain 3, move to the next space till you get to the end of the pineapple, and then you continue with your V as I showed you from the part 1. Very easy, and it's very easy to follow. So yeah, I'm basically repeating this swiftly and nicely, as you can see. So I just love the outcome. Looking pretty, right? Yeah, I just love the outcome. So I'm just going to repeat this pattern along or to the end. Wherever you get to the fresh pineapples, you just chain, single crochet, chain, single crochet, like how you did from the front panel. So yeah, I ended the row. Now I'm going to continue with my following row as usual. You're going to do your V after chaining up 3 to begin the next row, and I'm going to do your V's and separating them by chain 1 spaces. And yeah, with this there's going to be a V in the V. So yeah, as I told you, wherever the pineapple is ending, you are going to create another pineapple 2. So just create the V's in the V's, and then wherever you get to where the pineapples are closing, you are going to start a new pod there. So we are gradually approaching to where the pineapple ending was ending, and you realize that there was only one the pineapple has ended. So as usual, I'm going to create a pod there where I'm going to put 8 single crochets after I end this row, so that I begin the next pineapple. So that's the base pod for this whole pattern, and I'm just going to continue my regular V's until I get to the front panel where I do my regular chains and all. So yeah, just go along with your V, and that's also I'm approaching the first pineapple for the front pattern as usual. When you chain 2 single crochet, you chain 3 single crochet till the pod closes up, so it reduces by 1 each time. That's the technique you have to have in mind about this pineapple pattern. It's very easy to follow. So yes, I'm getting to the end of the pineapple, and I'm going to move to the next with a V and then continue with my following pineapple, and that's basically easy to follow. And you realize that with the armpit area, we have created a pod, so we are going to start a new baby pineapple in the next row. So I'm going to create my V and then just single crochet, chain 3 single crochet along the pineapples, as you can see clearly here. So very easy to follow. I'm just loving this pattern. It's easy to work with. It's not difficult as some people think. You can even recreate anything you want. So I'm just going to repeat this swiftly along the rows till I get to the end of the video. I already love the way it's looking. Yeah, so just repeat this till the end of the row, and I'll meet you. So at the end of the row, this is how your pattern is going to look like, and you're going to basically chain 2 and slip stitch to join, and you are going to continue your next row with a chain 3 first, and you are going to move on with your V's in its V's. But this time, after creating a V, you are going to create another pineapple on its own. So you chain 1 and go into this space with a total of 8 double crochets. So just go in with your total of 8 double crochets, and then we are going to create a V in the next V, and after that you are going to chain 1 and then create your 8 double crochets, because this is the actual pod that we ended with. You understand? The opening we ended with the pineapple ending, and you're going to create your 8 double crochets there. So that is the variation for this row. I hope you get it. So after that, you're going to chain up 2 and create your V in the V, and then you're going to chain up 1 and create your V in the following V. That's a basic technique for this beautiful pineapple pattern top, and that's the only variation. So yes, this particular section is 8 double crochets. So after creating a V, the following one will be 8 double crochets in the same V, just to keep the flare effect. It's optional for y'all, but that's how I keep my flare effect. So I'm going to chain 2 and create my V in that V, and then I'm approaching the front panel, and yeah, that's the only variation for this top. So I'm done with my armpits panel, and I'm approaching with my front panel as usual. With that one, you are just going to create your V, and after that you put your 8 double crochets. After creating your V, the next one is going to be 8 double crochets in the same exact space, as you can see. So it's simultaneous. So yes, just make sure it's 8 double crochets, as you can see, and just count it in your head. So with the armpit area, it's simultaneous, a V and then 8 double crochets in the same space. And now we are moving towards the front panel. I'm just going to chain up 1 and single crochet, chain up 3, single crochet, chain up 3, single crochet in the following space. And it's basically repetitive. As you guys know, it keeps on decreasing. That's the beauty of pineapple pattern. The pineapple pattern, sorry. So yeah, just make sure you are right on tact with this, and after that you're going to move ahead with your regular V's. With the front panel, just take note that you are not going to do any new pineapple design. It just happens at the armpit area section. And yeah, I'm going to continue with your regular V and then your regular pineapple stitch, chain 2, single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, chain 3 to close up the pineapple pattern. And that's basically what you are going to do for the front panel and the back panel as well. And remember that when you get to the armpit section, you are going to do your V and then your 8 double crochets interchangeably or simultaneously, and that's how this pattern works. So yeah, I'm just exhausted right now. So just continue with your pattern, and yeah, make sure when you get to the V, you create your V. That's what matters most at times. And yeah, my daughter is disturbing me. I'm trying to calm her down. So yeah, I'm just going to repeat my I'm getting to the armpit area. Whatever I did, I told you, you do your V simultaneously with the 8 double crochets in the same V, and that's a pattern. So I'll meet you at the end. So I slip stitch to join as usual, and I'm going to begin my next row. As usual, you chain 3 to begin your next row, and you are going to continue with your V. And as you know, the armpit area was simultaneously repeated with the 8 double crochets and the V. So after chaining 1, we are going to do your total of 8 double crochets with chain 1 spaces, separating as usual, as I taught you from part 1 detailed. And yeah, you are going to continue with your pineapple pattern because you have begun your pineapple pattern design at the... That's my daughter. Guys, forget about it. I couldn't cut this part because I had to show you. So yes, just make sure you do your pineapple pattern, and that's what matters for this design. And so I'm going to continue with my design all the way down. This time when I see a V, I see a V. When I get to my fresh pineapple, I just do my 8 double crochets with chain 1 spaces in between, and I'm going to continue with my regular pattern. And the reason why I did this for the armpit area is because I wanted some flary effect in which I need for this top. And yeah, just do this pattern so you get to the end of the row. This girl will kill me. So I'm gradually approaching the front panel, and it's the usual thing. But I'm still with my armpit area, so I'm going to create my V, and then I'm going to create my 8 double crochets with chain 1 spaces in between. Very easy to make. So I'm going to do this till I get to the front panel. It's basically repetitive, and yeah, I just hope you were able to follow this pattern because it's a beautiful and easy to follow pattern. I just love it. So yeah, I'm just going to continue, and I'll fast forward and meet you. So yeah, you can see the flurry effect right now. I'm just loving it. Yeah, and that's the effect you're supposed to have for this section. You're going to repeat along till you get to the front panel. I just want to show you, even though you might know what to do at the front panel, but I just want it to be step by step. So I'm going to continue my pineapple pattern with chain 1 spaces and between, and yeah, I'm just going to do this till I get to the front panel. It's the same repetition, and just make sure it's a total of 8 double crochets. It really matters. And then make sure you chain and then do your V. Whether you're going for the chain 1 or the chain 2, it doesn't really matter. So do your V in the V, and then continue with your fresh pineapple pattern by doing your 8 double crochets with chain 1 spaces in between. And yeah, that's basically how the pattern is. Very easy to follow, and yeah, we are gradually approaching the front panel. Just make sure you put your stitches swiftly with your chain 1 spaces. It really matters. So I'm approaching the front panel as usual. I'm going to chain 1 single crochet in the port, chain 3 single crochet in the next port, and chain 3 single crochet in the following port. That's how the basic pineapple pattern works. And you can see that the pineapple is closing up. It depends on how long you want your top, but when it ends, you can go ahead and create another new set of pineapple for the top. So yes, I'm just loving it. I didn't want it to be very croppy, but at least I wanted it a little decent. So I'm going to continue this pattern till how long I want. So I ended the row, and you can see the pattern is swiftly coming out. So the rest of the rows is going to just concentrate on how to close the pineapple parts, and it's really easy to follow. And yeah, so as usual, after chaining up 3, you are going to continue with your V, and then you are going to continue with your fresh pineapple. This time you know what to do. You are going to chain up and single crochet in the next space, chain 3 single crochet in the following space, or the chain 1 spaces you created from the previous row after double crocheting. And I'm just going to repeat this pattern till you get to the end of the pineapple, and then you create your V as usual. But make sure you chain 1 before you move to the V, and then you create your V in the V, and the following V you are going to repeat this. So this pattern is basically repetitive until you get to the front panel. So I'm at the front panel now, almost at the front panel. I'm still going to continue with my fresh pineapples, as I call it. And what you're going to do is to chain 3 single crochet, chain 3 single crochet all the way down. I missed that. Sorry. So I'm just going to single crochet, chain 3 single crochet, chain 3 along the pineapple edge. Sorry, the pineapple. And then yeah, please repeat pattern along, and just replay the video to observe clearly. So I'll meet you at the end after completing my pineapple stitches along. It's basically repetitive and closing up my paws. So I'm going to continue a few more rows to get the effect. So I continued a few more rows behind the scenes, and you can see that my pineapple is currently building up, but I'm just going to give you a few demonstrations for you. And yeah, I'm just loving the pattern already. I think it's cool. And so I'm going to continue with my row. As you can see, my pineapple is building up swiftly, and we're going to create a V in a V basically for the next row. And then as you can see, you're going to continue with your pineapple pattern until it closes up and you feel like you need to continue and create another one too. It just depends on how you want the pattern to be like, and I just love it. So I'm basically chaining 3 single crochet, and I'm just going to continue with my pineapple, my V stitch, and then my pineapple pattern all the way down. So I'm just going to fast forward and I'll meet you. So guys, I've approached the front panel, and it's basically repetitive. Wherever you end your pineapple, you create another one as I shown you, and then you're going to follow swiftly along as I shown you. This one is ending, and yeah, if you wish, I'm not going to continue because I like the length already, but if you wish to continue, you can still create your pineapple. So I just continued with my pineapple, and I think this is cool. You can use another effect, and you can just make sure that you do it in such a way that the back becomes long. I heard it's a new fashion trend, and if you watch the thumbnail, the deep yellow one had that effect, and you can just adjust your pineapple pattern to however you want. It just depends on what you want. But yeah, I just love the length already, and I'm just going to continue my pineapple pattern for some number of rows. It just depends on what you want. Some people want their tops long. It's just your matter of preference. So yeah, when you see your V, you create your V, and then you realize that this is the very last one for this pineapple section, and you're just going to create your your pod there. Sorry. So we are going to create the pod over there. It's optional. It just depends on what you want. But you can still continue with another pineapple. It's always optional. But I made a V there too, and I'm going to continue with my V, as you can see. And my pineapples are already closing up, so I'm just going to create a V there, and I might end there and work on the straps for the top too. So I'm just going to continue and create my V's for my my final row. So this is probably going to be my final row for this whole top, and it's really cool. You can even add edging at the ends, but I don't see it as very important since it's a pineapple pattern. You can just add some picot edgings or a single crochet. It's optional. But I'm just loving this project. It wasn't really time consuming though. It's a cool project to work with. It's a very cool pattern as well for beginners. So I'm just going to continue. I like talking too much, right? And I'll meet you at the end. So guys, I'm done with my total length of pineapple top. This is my effect. I just love it. What you guys think? So I'm just going to cut off my excess yarn and I'm going to work for the straps. It's basically easy. You can do your straps, but make sure you weave in your ends. And what you're going to do is that you're going to attach your yarn and single crochet along the armpit area to begin, and then you work your straps. So I'm just going to turn my work and move along to single crochet along the edges smoothly to make your armpit more neater. And it's really important to do that so that you keep this neat look for the top. So after doing that, I'm going to move along and make sure I place one single crochet in each space I find, and I'm almost ending, and I'm going to create my straps basically. And so this is how the armpit is supposed to look like. You are going to repeat it for the other side as well, but first create your straps. So with the straps, I don't have a specific pattern for it. I just single crochet for how thick I want, but it shouldn't be really thick. I made about 9 single crochets, and then I'm going to chain one and continue till how long I want my straps. So you're just going to turn and then chain one to begin your next pattern. Sorry, your next section of the straps, but single crochet in every space. So make sure you maintain your 9 single crochet or however single crochets you made for the base, so that it doesn't come out slanted. So you can count in your head and just make sure you single crochet to how long you want. So after that, you are going to do the same strap effects for the other side as well. So obviously you need 2 straps. So I'm done with my final project. This is how thick I made my strap, but from the thumbnail I did another section of the pineapple top, so the picture from the thumbnail is different from this actually, but it's the same pattern. But I didn't make the straps thicker as this, but I think this is cool and you should try this out. Tag me in your post on Instagram. If you're not yet following me, check the description box, and actually I have a matching skirt for this top, so if you have not watched, try it out. Bye bye.